so it's hard to do it and then do that at the same time.
And there on my slides,
I'll come see it.
so like when this comes up, I have it so they're up on the whole screen. Okay, that's good. If we can do it like that, wow.
What's good is if the names are on the top. That's what you want. I don't think that many people like it. Yes, I agree. It's too straight. It should be on an angle anyway.
What are they, and I'm not sharing my screen, what are they, they're getting the view from here, what are they?
The people on Zoom.
Yeah, like what are they seeing? Like on your,
They should.
when I see this
Okay.
down,
Yeah, what am I seeing?
I stop sharing now.
I'm seeing this. I'm seeing that. But now hold on.
And we have them see.
Start video. Start video. So they're seeing me. Why do I see? Oh, because oh my God, I'm losing it. All right. So
Ideally, they would see the presenter.
here, yeah. That's what Angelette's gonna have. That's what I believe she has. Angelette is in the office, so she would be able to adjust, like where the camera. You know what? Let me go get her. Let me go see what she's seeing.
Okay, we can do that. Yeah, I mean, like I'm totally confused now. So that actually, what they're seeing, they will see.
I'm seeing this right now because wait. Right, that's right. So see, this is not gonna. Let me tell her to do it now. I told her 6:30, so that's why. Let me see if she can start now.
I'd be so happy if we could actually have this running. I just remember last year we could not transition from the, we had the montage, but it took forever, I think, to get my slides out.
Well, they just did it, of course.
Yeah, no, that was
Nobody's
great. I'm just trying to, from the experience of the people that are going to be on Zoom, what are they going to be seeing?
I'm going to go see. Let me go see if we can just do it now. Do you want some dinner, Henry?
What's that?
Do you want dinner?
I'm going to go, I was hoping I would be able to.
No, I can bring you something. You can do it now.
That's okay. was up, but I was moving the board around and it like clicked. So I got to bring the Zoom back up. We're doing it through Zoom,
Right,
and
the
but I
problem
pressed
is, right now, the camera that's seeing hello, the camera that's seeing this is the Minions.
Right. So it doesn't. That'll. I mean, that's. I think I want that the presenter. It's either going to be the presenter or the slides. So if the camera's here, if the presenter is here, then that would be okay. It's a different. It's a different Zoom. It's a
Yes,
different
but the
Zoom.
camera from that one is still looking at this.
That's
so
that's
whoever is-
very bizarre. So
Do you know-
Rebecca
that's
has to.
That's what Rebecca was just trying to figure out. So I figured if I can help you on the tech side, I'm here. I would help you.
So, that's not usually the case. I mean, the Zoom that they use for Minion, it's never held in here, so I don't understand that. Like
Well, what camera is pointing at you right
so Shabbat Services are on Zoom, and that is,
now? But where's
you
the
know.
camera?
So the camera's, where's the camera? Where's Jamie when we need him? He'll be back. I mean, it points at here.
Right,
It
it's
must be that,
switching
must be down
Must
there.
be that thing.
And then there's another camera that points this way, and you go, yeah, there's the one that points at into the congregation. And if you're operating out of the office, you can switch it back and forth.
Right, so those, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little.
Those
she was
seem to, so the Zoom
are
that they're
working.
using for Minion is,
set up and ready to go.
okay, that's very bizarre. I mean, Minion is never in here, so like that Zoom, like if
But it
that's the
must
one.
be, the Zoom is connected to
Yeah.
these two.
So the Zoom that's used on Shabbat, so it depends which one Rebecca is using.
Yeah, I don't know. I just offered if I could help, I'm
Yeah,
happy to try to help.
Thank you. I mean, I was shifting the smart board a little down this way, and I must have like clicked off and had to reboot it. So, because we had the montage. Do you have something you need to project? No, you're good. Okay, because I have slides for the budget presentation. I just have to be able. The montage is beautiful. The video of the photo. I mean, it's
Oh, so,
just.
who made it? Is it
very-
awesome?
Yeah, a couple of times. So Lisa Miller on the time against it. It's really. So, all right.
Because I didn't want it to interfere with the Minion, I got a complaint about that.
I
The
don't.
camera is set for Minion,
But they're
for
never.
services to be facing this.
But they're never. Minion is never.
I know, it's a
yeah.
different account. We need to change it from this camera
Mm-hmm.
that's facing here, just to make it on this camera. Does that make sense?
You mean for our
But then they
meeting
won't
here?
see the,
or-
but then they won't see the podium when we're speaking.
Where is Jamie?
Where are we
need
speaking?
Jamie.
He's coming.
He's just please
you're-
tell him like we need him here. Okay. Okay.
When you speak, like if I'm speaking here, they won't see me.
No. I do want the speaker is standing here. The Zoom has to be on the speaker. Okay. I mean, it's really the requirements are not that. The requirements are not that advanced here. Jesus Christ.
to see from up there, to see this.
Can it be on the speaker when the person
It
is
is, the
speaking?
PA system is on.
So, no, I mean, the speakers will be probably standing here. Will the
That
people on Zoom will see the speaker or no?
What I told her to do, she has to pan from here
Ah.
to there.
Okay. I think with some.
I taught her.
Right. Okay.
You know, it really turns out it's a man.
It's not. It's not.
There are 6 views, and you can pan and zoom. She has never changed.
So we're in business with that. And,
People should be hearing you from that mic right in your mic. Where are you? Hold on.
Not even close. Not even close. He's in and out. He's in the front there trying to. I mean,
So this is just the opposite.
I think so. I'm struggling a little bit with it. I think I'm not myself not in.
Did they give you a microphone?
Well, I am in the meeting. Okay. So where am I not going to share? What am I looking at here? So.
Is there a graduation or something?
Just say that he should stand. He wants to stand. Oh, for men's club. I mean, you know, I really, no, yeah.
She just said it to me. I don't know what to say. Do I mention it? Or would this come out now?
Yes, it does kind of because you sort of want to mention as president of men's club. So then that would be like, I can say that.
Wouldn't it say minister?
Attends our meetings as the representative. He attends our meetings and he represents.
So let's do that.
So
And
when the board members stand, you mean like at that point, and,
I forgot to say just
okay, yeah. So who attends as representative of the men's club.
I mean, of course, I made this. Anyway,
assuming he'll be able to do it for me when he's here. I'm in Zoom, but I can't, from my, I can't like find myself on, like I had this crazy screen, which is not relevant, I don't think.
No.
I can't find myself here. I can't close it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here I am. I want to go to
Maybe they need to give you rights to share.
actually the
Yeah,
share.
right there, right
Yeah,
there,
the
right
sharing for the sharing.
Right there.
But where is my slide deck? Which the things I need to share are not appearing here. And they're open on my desktop.
So just go to desktop. Click that.
No. You're missing a microphone.
So Jamie, I have no idea what's happening.
What's wrong with it?
I can't find anything. I can't find the Zoom. I can't find the things that are open. Yeah, I can't find anything. It's not showing up. So that's it. Isn't this the Zoom? Yeah. So I'm putting it in there. Now I want to share and I want to bring up the montage. But I don't see them. They're open, but when I hit share, I don't see them. Okay. They're open. They're definitely open, and the slide says it's open. So, or maybe it's closed now. It was open. Where is it? It's right here. There it is. I can see it. So, you want to share?
Did they give you a wireless mic to use? It's missing.
Unmute your microphone.
It's not sharing. So here's my advice, Mary.
What's the problem?
Jamie,
Let Jamie drive this. We gotta do
we
it.
gotta do our ceremony. I don't know how to. It was sharing before.
ceremony here or out there?
We've been doing it out there.
What, I'm missing, what ceremony?
We're doing volunteer bar. We're doing something in there. That's separate from this.
Correct.
But we need to do that before we start the meeting.
So we just want to get the montage going. And when people come in,
All right, well,
we just want to run it from my screen. I had it up there before. I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't know what that is. I've never seen it come up before. I don't know what that is. Well, there's the Zoom. If you want to share, right? So share. Right? But then I don't see the slide deck is open and on my desktop, but it's not showing up there.
What do we go after you want to share?
All right, Ruth. I guess we're gonna go and do our.
There we go. Henry Bloom has started screen sharing. There you go. Just run the, just launch the, well, this is his screen.
Yeah, people are looking for your hearing.
Jerry, this is his screen.
Wait, this is that screen I was saying. This is not your screen.
No, this here is that screen.
Yeah, I know, but he wants this screen there.
CBI volunteer recognition, invite,
Yeah.
HP photo creation, spotlight.
Yeah, but he, what do you do?
CBI
How can
Centennial,
we have so many CDRs on there?
corporate coordinator, CBI montage program.
Yeah, but. I haven't actually. Yeah, it's done already.
No, now it's on the screen though.
Ah. So you want to make it bigger?
The sound should be picked up.
No, audio is the
Yeah,
mic.
the thing is, the PA system would pick it up.
fine, we got a picture.
Do this one.
No, that's a microphone. No, it's okay. Select the speaker.
I mean, the cheapest everything to do is to move a mic over. The other thing to do is plug in directly to the PA system. of the laptop.
So it's getting the center,
Yeah, but that's the big one.
but it's getting it from there. I can tell.
Testing? Okay. Maybe we'll take this out. All right. Okay, could everybody try to find a seat, grab some dessert or drink, and please find a seat? We'll just give you a minute to do that. It's right there. Let me. Rebecca, can you get the air? Can you get the air on? Yeah. Very hot. There. Really get there. All right, everyone, please try to find a seat. All right, I think we're going to have to get started, so that's pretty impressive that that's coming from you. We obviously have the technology under control completely, right? Okay, we're going to start, even though people are still milling about, but okay. So, good evening, everyone, and good evening and welcome to our volunteer recognition ceremony. So Ruth and I are going to be emceeing this ceremony as a tag team. I'm going to start with the serious part, and then Ruth will do the fun part, and maybe that's a hint about how things are going to change around here. I don't know. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. In Exodus chapter 35. Moses descends from Mount Sinai for a second time after having received the second set of tablets from God. The covenant has been renewed and the construction of the tabernacle may proceed. Moses speaks to the entire community, and it is clear that the building of the tabernacle will involve all the Israelites. In verse 21, of chapter 35. All right. In verse 21 of chapter 35, it says, the Hebrew reads as follows. Vayavo'u kol ish asher nisa'o libo v'kol asher nedabaru cho'oto heviu et trumat Adonai. and everyone whose heart was inspired and whose spirit moved them brought their gifts to the Lord. This beautiful verse includes the Hebrew word nedava, which shares the same root with the Hebrew word mitnadev, which in modern Hebrew means volunteer. It is clear that the spirit of volunteerism is deeply embedded in the tradition and culture of our people. More than 3,000 years ago, our ancestors built the Mishkan, and there is no doubt this spirit of volunteerism is alive and well at CBI. As everyone in the Israelite community participated in the building of the Mishkan, here at CBI, so many of us volunteer because we have that same commitment to community, to something larger than ourselves. If you've had a chance to look at the comprehensive lists of volunteers on the tables, also online, you've gotten a sense of the extraordinary level of involvement. This says so much about the commitment that you have to CBI. Ruth and I want to take the opportunity this evening to recognize and thank all of you who've given of yourselves as a volunteer to enrich our CBI community.
As you know, we have been positioning CBI as the musical shul. We thought it would be fun to incorporate music into our volunteer recognition. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing. I'm going to ask you to stand in groups to be recognized. The Jackson 5 sang, ABC, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. But here at CBI, we sing Aleph, Bet, Gimel, it's easy as Echat, Shtayim, Shalosh. And we think learning is a lifelong pursuit. Will the members of the BBRS board, the preschool board, and the Lifelong Learning Committee please stand to be recognized? The band Journey offered good advice. Don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling. Thanks to the Religious Affairs Committee, we at CBI don't ever have to stop believing, and the Music Task Force, along with our choir, help us use music to enhance our spirituality. Will the members of those committees and groups please stand and be recognized? Adding to our spirituality are the many, many people that have participated in services over the last year, reading Torah or Haftorah, leading us in English or Hebrew prayers, or serving as Gabbai, perhaps on Men's Club Shabbat or Sisterhood Shabbat, or on another occasion. Will everyone who participated in services please stand and be recognized? Donna Summer worked hard for her money. So hard for it, honey. The members of our fundraising committees also have been working hard for our money. Will the members of the Spring Concert Committee, Centennial Committee, Purim Basket Committee, and High Holiday Appeal Committee please stand to be recognized? Also working hard to keep track of our money are the members of the Finance Committee. Will the members of that committee also stand to be recognized? All right, let's see if you remember this one. Released in 1982, Madness sang, "Our house, it has a crowd. There's always something happening, and it's usually quite loud." Does that sound familiar? Recognizing those that have looked after our safety and after our buildings and grounds, will the members of the Security Committee and Facilities Committee please stand to be recognized? Weird Al Yankovic wrote the inspiring words, "Just eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, get yourself an egg and beat it." Food is no laughing matter here at CBI. Will the members of the Summer Barbecue Committee, Shabbat Dinner Committee, and the Kitchen Committee please stand to be recognized? Here's one I know that everyone knows. We are family. I got all my sisters and brothers with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Helping our CBI family grow, I ask the members of the Membership Committee to stand and be recognized. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. Jackie DeShannon isn't the only one making the world a better place. Recognizing those who have enhanced our commitment to a more just and better world, will the members of the Caring Committee, Environmental and Sustainability Committee, Pride Committee, Youth Committee, and Social Action Committee please stand to be recognized. My mama told me you better shop around. Well, we think we offer a lot here at CBI, so there is no need to keep shopping. Our staff works closely with volunteers to get the word out to members and prospective members about our many offerings. Will the members of the Marketing Committee please stand to be recognized? Anyone remember Salt and Pepper? They sang, "What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man." And not to be outdone, Helen Reddy sang, "I am woman, hear me roar." I could say the same about the men and women here at CBI. Recognizing those who contribute to the strengthening of the social bonds within our community, will all the Sisterhood and Men's Club volunteers please stand to be recognized. Anyone that watched The Golden Girls knows the theme song, "Thank You for Being a Friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant." There are no truer friends of CBI, often having to consider confidential information, than our Board of Trustees and Executive Committee. Will the members of those committees please stand and be recognized? And I also want to note that we inadvertently left David Tauger, who represents Men's Club, at our board meetings off of the volunteer list. Thank you, David. All right, see if you know this one. Dum 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 da da dum dum. Dum 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 da da dum dum. Pressure, pushing down on me, pressing down on you. As much pressure as there is on a synagogue president, there is just as much pressure put on the people tasked with recruiting a synagogue president. Will the members of the nominating committee stand and be recognized? Hatikva, Israel's national anthem, is a powerful song about the hope of being a free people in our land. Recognizing those who have strengthened the ties to and our support for Israel, will the members of the Israel Engagement Committee please stand to be recognized? If we have missed any committees or individual volunteers, please accept my apology, and I ask that you all please stand and be recognized.
Thank you, Ruth. All right, so I think we've reached the conclusion of our volunteer recognition ceremony. Thank you all again. What you do makes CBI the special place that it is, so thank you. And I think we are going to move now to the sanctuary. There should be a photo montage that's playing back there. I hope that's up and running, and let's try to move as quickly as we can so that we can move on with the meeting. Thank you.
We got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the heat. Yeah, we got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the street. Yeah, we got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the heat. We got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the street.
כל בלב על פנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאטמי זך קדימה, עין לציון צופיה.
כאן אני ידעתי, לא מתביישת, כאן אני נולדתי, כל צבעי הקשת, ואל תגיד לי מה הולך ברשת, אני רואה פה את הכל מהמרפסת.
היי, לא אכפת לי מה יגידו, היי, מגן דוד עליי תשירו, כולם פה אחים ואני לא מתבייש כי I know who I am and you never understand me. ארץ ציון ירושלים, ארץ ציון ירושלים, ארץ ציון ירושלים, ארץ
בקרוב תזרח השמש, נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בילידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות, הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה, תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו. בקרוב תזרח השמש, נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בילידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות, הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה,
נחלתנו, לא תיפול כעת רוחנו מסביב ברזל של חרבות. ויונה תפרוס כנפיים, התקווה בת שנות 2000, עוד נצא לשיר ברחובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות, בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. כי עם ישראל חי.
Yeah, we got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the heat. Yeah, we got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the street.
עולה בלב הרבה נימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאתם מזרח קדימה, עין לציון צופיה. עולה בלב הרבה נימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאתם מזרח קדימה, עין לציון צופיה. נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאתם מזרח קדימה, עין לציון צופיה. כל בלב הפנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאתם מזרח קדימה, עין לציון צופיה. עוד לא עבדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות חופשי לציון ירושלים.
We got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the heat. Yeah, we got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the street. Yeah, we got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the heat. We got hope of peace. 2,000 years in the street.
בלב הפנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאתם מזרח קדימה, עין לציון צופיה.
כאן אני ידעתי, לא מתביישת, כאן אני נולדתי, כל צבעי הקשת, ואל תגיד לי מה הולך ברשת, אני רואה פה את הכל מהמרפסת.
this with Jamie? Is this the biggest one? All right, I'm going to get started in the meantime. So welcome, everyone. And I want to thank Lisa Biller, who did really the lion's share of the work for the photo montage. So thank you very much, Lisa. I believe Lisa Friedman also helped out, and everyone who contributed photos. So thank you all. Thank you, Lisa Biller, for putting that together. So good evening, and welcome to CBI's annual meeting. Thank you all for taking the time to come here tonight and participate in this important community event. Before I get into my remarks, I want to quickly review the agenda for tonight's meeting. After my introductory remarks, Rabbi Eisenberg will deliver a Devar Torah and a brief report, followed by reports from Cantor Wallach, our Executive Director, Rebecca Galanter, and our new preschool director, Eliza Maslansky. Eliza will be introduced to you by Amy Radin, longtime CBI member who's played a key role in the revitalization of our preschool and in leading our preschool rebranding initiative, which she will tell you about. Next, we'll have an update on the Centennial campaign from Mariella Marcellus-Dibner, followed by the installation of the new slate of officers and trustees, with Steve Brown serving as the Master of Ceremonies. Finally, we'll have the presentation of the 2025-2026 budget by our treasurer, Adam Forster, and myself, and closing remarks from our incoming president, Ruth Kirshner. So clearly, we have a lot to cover in the next 90 minutes or so, and based on our prior experience, we're going to ask you to be patient and hold your questions until the end of the presentations. We will make every effort to get through as many questions as we can, and if there are some that we cannot get to, we will follow up with you after the meeting. You have our commitment to that. At our meeting 1 year ago, I spoke to you about the strengths of our community, which continue to characterize CBI today. Our outstanding clergy and exceptional staff, our highly engaged lay leaders, our strongly committed and established membership base, and our dedicated and growing cohort of young families. But I was also open with you about the challenges we have faced in recent years, including the decline in preschool and religious school enrollment and the continuing burden of our mortgage. We presented a budget with a deficit of nearly $450,000, and we made it clear that this was unsustainable. I also spoke with you about our goals and plans for addressing these challenges and closing this deficit. Tonight, we are excited to update you on the excellent progress that we've made. There is still much work to be done, but we are optimistic and we see a path to financial stability and growth. During the past year, we have seen the level of participation and engagement of our members increase. Our Erev Shabbat Live programs regularly attract more than 200 people for dinner, including 40 to 50 children, followed by spirited and meaningful in-person Kabbalat Shabbat services. Equally impressive, these Erev Shabbat Live dinners were made possible by donations and sponsorships of over 150 different individuals and families. What a testament to the strong connection you feel to this community. Participation in programs for our youngest children, Bim Bam Shabbat and Katanim, which many of you will remember as Tat Shabbat, also grew significantly during the past year. And this should be no surprise, as our new membership chairpersons, Rachel and Jason Wininger, have built on the excellent work done by Paula Tauger to further expand our circle of prospective members and to bring new ideas and new energy to our membership outreach and in-reach efforts. Further on the theme of participation and engagement, the level of volunteerism is stronger than ever, as we highlighted at our volunteer recognition ceremony. This speaks volumes about the commitment you all have to this congregation and makes me so proud of our community. I'm also pleased to report that during the past year, both our preschool and BBRS Religious School grew in size despite going through transitions in leadership. And let me assure you that we are strongly committed to both schools and look forward to further growth in the years ahead. Music continued to be a hallmark of our congregation. That is true at every Shabbat and holiday service, where we have the good fortune to benefit from the extraordinary musicality of Cantor Wallach and Rabbi Eisenberg. If you are not a Shabbat regular, I encourage you to come more often and enjoy the experience. But beyond services, music is infused in almost everything we do at CBI, from our adult learning classes to our recent Tikkun Leil Shavuot, with this year's theme of learning in perfect harmony, music in our tradition. And just 3 weeks ago, our spring concert fundraiser, featuring the Israel Klezmer Orchestra, was a huge success, with a great time had by all and fundraising efforts that exceeded expectations. There are many other indications of the vitality of our community, from the annual events and ongoing programming of Sisterhood and Men's Club, to adult learning, to Israel engagement, social action, our caring committee, and more. If you have not had an opportunity to review the committee reports that we made available, I encourage you to do so to learn more about what's going on at our synagogue. There is something for everyone, and if there's something you don't see or want more of, and you're ready to roll up your sleeves to help make it happen, come talk to us. During the past year, CBI continued to be a center of support for Israel, hosting numerous programs like the talk by former IDF spokesperson Jonathan Conricus, offering us opportunities to express solidarity and share experiences through the Israel Kehillah discussion group, and actively participating in the Celebrate Israel Parade and other Israel-focused community events. I also want to highlight that during the past year, we continued to upgrade our security with financial support from state and federal grants. Several projects to make our facilities more secure have been recently completed, and others are ongoing. And we continue to have armed security guards on duty during school hours, on Shabbat and holidays, and at special events. Thank you to our security committee and our executive director for helping keep us safe. During the past year, we continued to increase our partnering with other Jewish organizations to strengthen ties, help unify and expand the value we bring to the Jewish community, and to create new financial opportunities for CBI. This includes organizations like Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West and the JCC of Greater Metro West, JNF, Magen David Adom, the National Council of Jewish Women, the Jewish Parent Academy, the Lawfare Project, and many others. We partnered with other local synagogues, holding joint services on Tisha B'Av, Slichot, Simchat Torah, Purim, and combining our morning minyanim. And we generated additional revenue for CBI by making our unused space available to local companies like Genius Gems. As you know, back in March, we renewed our mutual commitment with Rabbi Eisenberg by signing a new contract that will continue our relationship for the next 6 years. This solidifies our outstanding clergy team of Rabbi Eisenberg and Cantor Wallach and positions us for growth moving forward. At last year's annual meeting, I emphasized 2 urgent priorities for strengthening our community and stabilizing our finances. 1, revitalization of the preschool as a pipeline for new members and a revenue generator. And 2, maximizing the Centennial campaign to pay off our mortgage and replenish our endowment. I am pleased to say that we have made excellent progress in addressing both of these priorities, and we will share details later in the meeting. As my term as your president is winding down, I want to take the opportunity to express my thanks and gratitude. First, to Rabbi Eisenberg and Cantor Wallach for their partnership in building and strengthening our community, and for everything they have done and continue to do to nurture us and make CBI a Jewish home in which we feel welcome and proud. Next, thank you to Rebecca Galanter for all her efforts and contributions as our executive director. And thank you to our wonderful staff for everything that they do for our community. Thank you to the members of the executive committee, including our past presidents, Jamie Poteshin, Steve Brown, and Linda Sotnick, for their sage advice and support. Thank you to Sharon Richmond, our board secretary, for her continuous efforts to help me keep the board on track. Thank you to Adam Forster, our treasurer, who was willing to step into the breach and take up this critical position which had been vacant for many months. Thank you to our third vice president, Jamie Beneroff, and our second vice president, Paula Tauger, both of whom were role models in their willingness to roll up their sleeves and always do whatever was needed. And my biggest heartfelt thanks is to Ruth Kirshner, our first vice president, for being a true partner to me in leading the congregation. She supported me at all the most difficult moments, for which I'm tremendously grateful. Ruth is absolutely ready to be our next president, and I have the utmost confidence that CBI is going to soar under her leadership. Thank you to the members of the Board of Trustees for your steadfast commitment to CBI and all your support and hard work during the past 2 years. Thank you to all the committee chairs and volunteers who put in the time and effort to make CBI the special place that it is. And I would be remiss if I did not give a very big thank you to my wife, Helene, for giving me the space to do this and for, quite frankly, for staying married to me for the past 2 years. And finally, to you, the members of Congregation B'nai Israel, thank you for trusting me with this important responsibility and supporting me during the past 2 years. It has been an unforgettable experience, and I am grateful to you all. Thank you. Okay, so now we're actually going to move on to Rabbi Eisenberg.
Kenny, hanging out. Taking care of some security issue, I think. Yeah. There you go. Right. Yeah. Yep. There are. Oh, really? That echo, huh?
Jamie, you want to help me? So, volume all the way down.
All right. Is it really obstructive here on this side, or no? It's okay. Paula's giving me the honest answer. That's it. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. All right, Henry. We'll live. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There are two backwards letters found in every Torah scroll. Right? Two letters that appear backwards. We find them at the heart of this week's Torah portion, Behalotcha, when the 38 years left of wandering in the desert begin in earnest. Just as the Israelites set out on this vast journey, we come to two verses that are enclosed by a backwards letter, and the backwards letter is Nun. The Nun letters are large and they are inverted. And I'm just going to show you, you might not all be able to see this, but I took a little picture of what it looks like in the Torah scroll. So there are two verses that essentially have these Nuns that serve as parentheses. Our sages actually suggest that perhaps the Nuns are the equivalent of a modern-day asterisk, a tool to draw our attention to the text within them. So what is the text of Torah sandwiched between the two inverted Nuns? Vayehi bin Aaron, vayomer Moshe. Sing it with me. Kuma Adonai ויפוצו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך. That's it, don't keep going, okay? But that was the first verse. The second one is, Uvnucho yomar shuva Adonai rivevot alfei Yisrael, which is the first line of the Etz Chaim Hi prayer. Okay, so what we just sang before, the Vayehi bin Soa Ha'aron, when do we sing that? The beginning of the Torah service. And the Uvnucho Yomar, part of Etz Chaim Hi, when do we sing that? The end of the Torah service. Okay, so we know how to sing these lines, and we know when to sing these lines, but why do we sing them? And what do they mean? Vayehi bin Soa Ha'aron, when the ark Linsoa traveled, when the ark was sent out on a journey, Vayomer Moshe, Moshe said, to whom? To God. Moshe said to God, Kuma Adonai, rise up, God, Kuma Adonai, veyafutzu oivecha, and remove your enemies, veyanusu misanecha mipanecha, and cause your enemies or your foes to flee, to leave the path that we are journeying on. And then at the end of the journey, Moshe says, Uvnucho yomar, uvnucho like lanuach, when it was time to rest, when the journey was over. Moshe said to God, Shuva Adonai, Lashuv, come back to us, God. Rivavot alfei Yisrael, return, God, you who are Israel's myriads of thousands. The Israelites, in their last 38 years of journeying, they're going to make dozens of stops along the way. And before each movement, before each trip, as the ark is prepared for the grand procession, Moshe says these words and asks God, Kuma, rise up, protect the ark, protect the community, and then when the camp settles, Moshe asks God to return and settle with the Israelites, Shuva. These final 38 years of wandering will be marked by many amazing achievements, growth, and highs, but there are also particularly difficult periods during this wandering when they encounter enemies, harsh elements, even danger. Moshe understands that so long as the ark is there with them, accompanied by his prayer and God's protection, the journey will ultimately bring blessing. I've always thought of the Torah service each Shabbat morning as a reenactment of Revelation on Mount Sinai. And it is that, to be sure. But since the first of these verses is recited when we take the scroll out of the ark, and the second one is said when the scroll is returned, perhaps what we are doing each week, even more than reenacting Sinai, is reflecting on our journey. Where we've come from, where we are, where we're going. Perhaps the procession with the Torah each week is about following in Moshe's footsteps, walking along the paths, the winding roads of our lives. Where have I been? And where do I want to be going? When we take that Torah out and march with it, that symbolic act should elicit meaningful reflection about our journey on a very personal level and also a communal one. So let me consider this past year, and I want to share just 3 highlights from a list of many. Henry said it, and I want to echo it. I continue to be so proud of the way our Erev Shabbat Live programs are running. This is now our most successful ongoing program. It is truly our signature repeat event. And we also saw this past year, along with Erev Shabbat Live, increased attendance and success at our Young Family Shabbat programs. Shelanu, Kitanim, Bimbam, K through 5. Shabbat is on a roll here at CBI. Second, we embraced Israel during a very difficult year, inviting many guests to speak on Shabbat morning, hosting special programs, encouraging congregants to take volunteer trips to Israel. We've been vocal in the greater community about our stance and our support. Maintaining a synagogue community, my dear congregants, is no longer a luxury. CBI is a necessity. It's a necessity to maintain a synagogue for the Jewish people to thrive. In a world that has shown increased hostility toward us, we need this place. We need a haven, a conveyor of our history, identity, culture, teaching, and tradition. And I think that we have articulated that clearly. And I know how many of you have stepped up your own involvement here in the wake of October 7th and its aftermath. Third, Gila and I continued to open our home to you. Though with 2 toddlers running around, we hope our guests still love coming. It's not an easy thing to do with young kids, but we make an extra effort to do it as much as possible because of the impact that it has. At our home this past year, we hosted Shabbat dinners with teens, Shabbat and holiday lunches and afternoon Havdalah hangs, adult education sessions, an open house on Sukkot, a pre-high holiday gathering about Israel, and other events and programs. But I know that some of you here this evening have not yet been to my home. And that's actually why I signed my 6-year contract extension. I mentioned this in my note to the community after signing my contract, and I want to highlight it here again. It has been such a gift for me to see my family integrated into the life of CBI. 5 years ago, Gila and I arrived here as newlyweds, and you have given us the gift of a vibrant and substantive synagogue community in which to raise our children. For my kids, you are their shul community. It is not contractual for them. You are their shul community. They love it here. There is nowhere else that they nor I would want to be. So where does our journey, my journey, take us? I believe in our synagogue's mission. I admire its history. I feel honored to play a role in its current growth, and I will do my very best to invest as much of myself as possible into this community. Just a few of my goals for the coming year or two. I want to devote as much as possible to help our preschool and Hebrew school continue their growth and the great momentum that we have been building upon in the last few months. I want to help identify additional leaders to help continue to lead our Bimbam and Shabbat Shelanu and Ktanim and High Holiday Youth Services, teen programming, so that we can have the right amount of support to grow these offerings, get to a point where we might even be offering them every single week on Shabbat. I plan to launch a new monthly Torah on tap at a local bar, probably on a Tuesday evening, a non-board or executive meeting Tuesday evening, although that would be fun too. Sometime late, like 8 to 9 p.m. at a local bar where we sit, have some drinks, some appetizers, and do a little bit of studying together. I plan to launch that at some point, probably this fall, maybe late summer, but likely this fall. I'm opening my home again this summer for learning, called Rambam at the Rabbis, and you're all invited. And very importantly, I have a goal of reimagining how we engage the most senior members of our community. Over the next year or two, we will cultivate a new channel of communication that specifically targets our oldest members, even those who might be fully bound to their homes, in the hope that we can find new opportunities to involve them in the life of the synagogue. Finally, I want to use the next few years to ensure that everyone's voices are heard, that everyone's opinions are expressed, and I want to be a receptive ear for all. And if anybody has ever thought that I've gotten off on the wrong foot with them, I really want them to know that I want to have a receptive ear for everyone and everyone's views. It does not mean that I will agree with everyone's views or that we can implement everyone's ideas, but everybody who associates with this community has a voice and deserves to be heard and respected, and I want the opportunity to continue getting to know all of you, learning about you, and from you. My journey is made infinitely easier and rewarding because of my travel mates. From my first president, Mariella, to Jamie, to Henry, and soon Ruth, you and your officers, your committee chairs, your volunteers, you drive our critical mission, and I am filled with appreciation for our lay leaders. And to the professional teams, our custodial team, our administrative teams, our preschool and Hebrew school educators, what a blessing to work in such a supportive, dynamic, and uplifting environment. Cantor Wallach, Rebecca, Susan, to you and your teams, thank you. I am also overjoyed that we were able to sign one of the most sought-after free agents on the market, our new preschool director, Eliza Maslansky. Yes. I know what's in store, and I cannot wait for you all to see it. You know, God doesn't promise that the journey unfolds as we expect it to. But in saying Vayehi bin Soah ha'aron, in journeying through our world with the Torah, with the Ark, God does promise protection and blessing. So may the travels that we take and the moves that we make over this next year bring us exactly that. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen. Thank you all.
Erev Tov, good evening. First, I want to thank each of you for coming this evening. I truly appreciate your commitment to our CBI community, for all the ways that you generously give to and volunteer at CBI, and for the many ways that you support me. I only have a few minutes to address you this evening, but I would be very remiss if I didn't express what an honor and privilege and joy it is to serve as your cantor and to be part of this warm, caring, and vibrant community. Much of Jewish liturgy and ritual is repetitive. For example, we say the same prayers each day with very minimal variation. We have set rituals for Shabbat and holidays which don't change from week to week or year to year. When we end the cycle of reading the Torah, we immediately start the cycle again. It is often a challenge, even for those who are knowledgeable and who have deep faith, to turn that which is routine into something meaningful. Serving as a cantor now for a total of 36 years, after having taught and officiated at so many B'nai Mitzvah services and Shabbat or high holiday services, I've often been asked, doesn't it get repetitive or feel routine for me? My answer, in short, is emphatically no. While true, there are many aspects that remain constant, and I'd say that oftentimes the familiar can actually feel comforting as opposed to repetitive, but there are always elements of change, of new life experiences, or even whatever is going on around us on any particular day that makes these occasions and this work feel exciting, inspiring, special, unique, and yes, even new. All this is to say, I've been giving an annual report for all of these years now, so some of this might sound routine or familiar, but I assure you that for me, each year at CBI has brought its own excitement, sometimes including some challenges, but always inspiration. Some of the things that are familiar, but no less remarkable, is that we've enjoyed many beautiful, music-filled Shabbat and holiday services, some with instruments and others with just our voices, with our choir singing in harmony. In the middle of this year, I revived our youth choir during religious school time with 6 enthusiastic, talented, and dedicated students, and I hope going forward that will continue to expand. I've enjoyed my involvement in BBRS in other ways as well, including teaching and one-on-one Hebrew tutoring. It's always a joy to sing songs and read stories for our Bim Bam Friday evening program and at our preschool Friday morning Shabbat program, and I'm really excited to increase my participation as Eliza becomes the director of our newly branded Better World preschool program. This year we celebrated 6 wonderful B'nai Mitzvah, and each one was meaningful and unique. We also celebrated several Ufrafs. All of them were students whom I have had the privilege of officiating also at their Bar or Bat Mitzvot here at CBI. It is so meaningful to me to participate in the life cycle events of our CBI families. We always hope for the joyous occasions such as baby namings and brisses and weddings, conversions, but the sad times such as funerals, shiva, and unveilings are also a significant part of the cycle of life. It is more impressive than ever that we still have a long list of volunteer Torah and Haftorah readers, including teens, and that with these dedicated volunteers, we are able to maintain the full Kriyah each Shabbat. And through events such as Sisterhood Shabbat and Men's Club Shabbat, and through CBI's robust learning opportunities, new people continue to be added to that list of readers as they acquire and hone these skills. We continue to have a variety of adult education, lifelong learning programs with some new volunteers getting involved in teaching. The Lifelong Learning Committee and I look forward to increasing the participation for next year, so please let us know how you'd like to be involved. I try to join our Zoom morning, evening, and minyanim as often as I can, and it really warms my heart to see this minyan going strong with our volunteers and how they comfort and welcome those who join to say Kaddish or observe a yortzeit. Rabbi Eisenberg and I regularly reach out to congregants observing a yortzeit in a particular week to invite them to participate in the Friday evening Zoom service and to share memories of their loved ones during the service. It is very inspiring to me to be in a community that feels so strongly connected to the land and the people of Israel, and I applaud the many ways that our CBI community demonstrates our support. It was a dream of mine to bring musicians from Israel right here to our Bima, to CBI to perform, and not just so that I could sing with them, Hava, Nagila, Hava, but that was great. That was a great moment. But that wasn't the only reason. But I am truly grateful to Henry, to the officers, and the Board of Trustees for giving their blessing to go forward with this endeavor, despite its many challenges along the way. I extend a tremendous personal thank you to the fundraising concert chairs, to Sharon and Robin, and to the entire committee, and to everyone who supported our spring concert featuring the Israel Klezmer Band, for making the dream that I dared to dream come true. And it didn't even conflict with me being able to attend the Israel Day Parade, which is one of my favorite events of the whole year. So glad that all worked out. We will definitely plan another big concert for next year, and we don't have to stress over how we will top this year's concert, because remember what I said earlier, each one is special and will be special in its own unique way. Please review in the handout that you got the report from our music task force, chaired by Miriam Linver and Susan Zellman, to see the other highlights from this year, including a beautiful and uplifting a cappella Shabbat with Pizmon, and the evening of Erev Shirah, of singing coming together in person and on Zoom to sing beloved Israeli folk songs in celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut, with Len Hausman accompanying on guitar. One final thing I want to note. As clergy, Rabbi Eisenberg and I are called upon to offer comfort and support to those who are sick or bereaved. At the beginning of this year, I was sick, very sick, for several weeks with a bad bout of pneumonia, and I am so grateful for all the prayers, the meals, the well wishes I received, and to the many people whom I was able to call upon, well, only text because I had no voice, but to ask to fill in with all the synagogue tasks that I wasn't able to do, allowing me the time I needed to heal. How blessed I am, and all of us are, to be part of this sacred, caring community. So now, completing my 27th year serving as your cantor, thank you. My passion for my work and this community is still strong and deep. I look forward to continuing to use my leadership and relationship building skills to strengthen our community, empower our members to be active and involved participants, and to help attract new members to our congregation. I also look forward to continuing to work with our incoming president, with Ruth Kirshner-Novick, and the new slate of officers, and with the new and continuing board members, as well as with our incredible professional team, including Rabbi Eisenberg, Rebecca, Eliza, Susan, all of our teachers, our administrative and maintenance staffs. Working together, we will help shape the direction that CBI will take. I look forward to playing a significant role in continuing to make CBI the unique, rooted, caring, values-driven, and special community that it is. May we go from strength to strength. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. First, I would like to thank everybody for your ongoing support and encouragement. I can't believe I'm here 2 years, and I'm very proud of what we've all accomplished together. I'm going to highlight those pieces in a moment. I really would like to give my personal thanks. It's been a bit of a rough patch for me personally, as some of you may know. I could not have gone through this rough patch, which I am continuing in some ways to face, without all of you. I'd like to start with acknowledging our wonderful staff, our front office, Jane Lemberg, Ayana Harry, Ann Zaccardo, and then our facilities staff, Marlon Dixon, Sandra Frazier, Hubert Frazier, I know they're out there somewhere and listening maybe, Chris Bennett, Baptiste, that's just his, kind of like Elvis, he goes by Baptiste, and the rest of our team, Susan Cashin, all of our wonderful teaching staff, Ilana Tannenbaum, Dahlia Jacobowitz, who filled in so beautifully and masterfully this year in the absence of our preschool director, and of course, our incoming preschool director, Aliza Maslansky. I think the biggest testament, get it, to our staff is that no steps were missed while I was out, whether I was here, whether I had to be late, whatever the situation. So I really want to thank all of you and all of them for assisting wherever needed. It really meant a lot. Clergy, I'm sorry to leave you out. It's hard to follow you. Thank you so much for your ongoing partnership, guidance, support. And I want to move on to some of our wonderful accomplishments. We're going to be hiring a new staff member. As some of you may know, we are a little short-staffed at times, or kind of all the time. And so we are going to be hiring a part-time front office staff member. So that's the only person that was left off of my list, and hopefully it will be a wonderful addition to our team. We continue to work on staff structure, office procedures, protocol, and I also want to thank all of you for being part of that as well. I know sometimes maybe it comes across as a little bit inflexible. I hope it doesn't come across that way. However, we do need those procedures and protocol in place so that we can work as professionals and run a business, which this really, when we come down to it, is. And I think that the rollout of SchulCloud, for example, which we were able to enact for the high holidays as a first step. That is our software, where 99% of you went right into the software, signed up, and printed out your tickets. It was a beautiful thing. And we're going to be continuing rolling out the use of the software. So I have to give everybody thanks for that support on that. It's not easy, but we did it. Security. We know this is an ongoing yet greatly expanding need, unfortunately. Together with our security committee, we've been able to enhance the protocol that we have in place. It's not a perfect system, but we really are proud of where we've come. You let us know, and we do hear, lots of feedback, which is very important for us to hear, when something doesn't go right, and we really want you to let us know that. But most of the time, I'm really happy to say it goes right. And I want to send a special shout out to our security company, Sterling Securities. And we have two wonderful kind of main guards, which I'm going to give a shout out to. That's Al and Jean. And they are magnificent, protecting us at all times, on their game, at all times. And so I really want to thank them. Al is out there somewhere too, doing what he needs to be doing out there. I want to also emphasize the trainings that we have offered throughout the year. We do have a greeter and usher training coming up actually on Monday, so if you still would like to register, we have room, right, Kenny, somewhere over there? And it's really important that we all become empowered and trained in this area so that we can all be the eyes and ears and all be security, really, in a sense. First aid and security. First aid and safety. Regular training is also taking place for those pieces as well. We've added AED equipment, a defibrillator, in other words. We've added lots of training, CPR, first aid protocols, stocking and monitoring of all the items that we have in the building is really key. If you don't have the pieces in place, then you're not ready for an emergency, God forbid. I'm really happy to say we welcomed 10 new members this year. Some of them were brand new members, and some of them were returning members who must have missed us so much that they decided to join us again. And we really look forward to welcoming additional members, thanks to our membership committee, who I know we thanked before, but I know you're hard at work welcoming new people as we greet them at our dinners and our ongoing events. Marketing and communications, as we know, I know it's been mentioned a number of times here, but I'm going to plug it again. Our preschool has been rebranded as A Better World, and it's sort of self-explanatory as to what that needs to look like and what it already looks like, because we have a fantastic staff who are already extending that message to all of our children and families. But those things came out of our marketing and communications committee, who works very hard at the consistent rebranding and remarketing of all of our pieces of wonderful programs that already exist, but it's getting it out there, and it's finding different ways to reach different audiences and reframing and rewording it, even though they're already fantastic programs. So some of the sources of revenue I know came up before. I won't go into too many examples, but I'm really thrilled that we are going to be leasing space for the summer to Genius Gems again. This is a very significant source of revenue over the summer. That's a summer camp that joins us it'll be 9 weeks this year rather than 8 weeks, and so that's nice. You will be seeing some extra cars in the parking lot because we will be leasing a couple of spots here, about 20 spots, to a park and ride. If you've heard of Boxcar and Yankee Bus Lines, they're very anxious to use our parking lot because of the wonderful location. We hope to also market to those parents who see that, oh wow, look at this beautiful facility we have. And it may be a very good thing for us because they will see how convenient it is for them when they drop their cars off for the day. We have our cemetery plot sale. I know that always brings a nice little laugh, but we do have a sale going on right now. So if you're interested in purchasing cemetery plots, this is also a significant source of revenue for us, and the prices will be going up very shortly at the beginning of July. See me. Okay. That's pretty much the rental opportunities. I just want to say Mazel Tov and welcome to our incoming president, Ruth Kirshner. Assuming you're elected at the end of the night, I'm going to assume, okay? I've already been working closely with you. You mainly hired me, and we just know each other, and I know you've been studying for the role. You've been the understudy for 2 years or more, and I'm very excited to be working closely, even closer with you. Henry Bloom, our outgoing president, it's been an immense pleasure to have worked with you. We've been able to accomplish so much together, maybe not always easily, pleasantly sometimes. I know everything is not easy, but you certainly have boundless degrees of energy. So I definitely admire that a great deal. And mazel tov to you, by the way, on your retirement. And I'm putting it in quotes because we know you're going to be still very active here. So once again, everybody, have a good evening, and thank you for your time. And again, thank you all for your support.
I use technology, but I never touch the hardware. Henry, you look like you've grown 6 inches since nearing your retirement. So we were commenting at the, yeah. We're saying Henry looks a lot taller these days since he's at the end of his term. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me directly, I'm Amy Radin. I'm a longtime member, and I've been on the preschool committee for a long time, probably around 6 years. Our older kids, our daughters, both went to the preschool, and our 3 children all had their b'nai mitzvot here. But I have a background in marketing and digital strategy, and I really wanted to help bring to the preschool some fresh, sort of outside-in thinking about how we could really revitalize the preschool. And so, you know, I think it's not lost on anybody here that the demographics of our community have changed. So when many of our children were in the preschool, it was just a much different show. And now we actually welcome to our preschool about half the students who are not Jewish. And so we really had to think about, with the change in the demographics, with the changing parent needs, which there were huge changes brought on by the pandemic and a lot of other factors, people really rethinking, what is a work day, where am I working, and that really impacts their childcare needs. And also the role of the preschool, which I know last year Henry spoke at the annual meeting about the critical role of the preschool in closing our deficit gap. So while we have a Jewish preschool, we also have to think very seriously about the fact that we will continue to welcome significant number of students to our preschool who are not Jewish. So how do we maintain that balance of having a Jewish preschool and never having any of our students who are not Jewish or their parents feel that they don't want to send their children to a Jewish preschool? And that is a very fine line. And I'm so happy that Elisa has joined us just in time to really think that through. And she clearly has a lot of empathy for how do we really thread that needle. So that's kind of the background to like why rethink our preschool. There's a lot of changes going on, and also parents have choices. So what do we do about all that? And before I talk a little bit about the brand, the rebranding, I don't want to forget there are a few people without whom the rebranding never would have happened. And the first person I really have to thank is Jamie Benaroff, and we all owe Jamie such a huge thank you, because I mean, for me personally, he has become a friend. He has been my partner. We kvetch to each other when things don't go completely according to plan, and sometimes you just need an outlet to kvetch to. But implementing a brand is so much more than the logo and the artwork. I mean, I always call that the icing on the cake. It's really, how do you operationalize the brand? How do you get your stationery in place? How do you get the email in place? How do you get SchulCloud working so how do you remap your website so it's no longer CBI Preschool, but betterworldpreschool.org. There's a lot of kind of back office details to actually bringing the brand to life, and that's the hard part. And Jamie has been an incredible partner. Jamie also, by total luck, was at jury duty, I think, a couple of years ago, and ran into someone who lives on his block named Diane DePaulis. And Diane DePaulis had spent a career at a world-renowned brand design firm called Siegel and Gale. And she donated all of the work that you see around the branding, the website, the artwork, the launch side, the social media images. I mean, really tens of thousands of dollars of work donated to us, along with her developer partner, to actually making this possible. And at some point, I know we will want to recognize them properly, but it's been a privilege to work with someone of Diane's caliber. So Jamie brought us Diane, and also when Jamie and Diane and I kicked this off, we were sitting at Rock and Joe's one morning, and Diane asked us, well, what do you want for your children? And Jamie blurted out, well, a better world. So in thinking about a better world, we said, like, wow, who doesn't want a better world for their children? And these days, I mean, just given everything that's going on in the world, we're all thinking about a better world. So it's what my former ad agency colleagues would call an idea that has legs. So I love ad agency kind of jargon. It's an idea that has incredibly broad, literally universal appeal, but also ties to values of Judaism, not just universal values, but other values. So given our goals and the market and who we have to appeal to, it's such a great platform that I'm so excited about and feel so privileged to have helped to build over the past year and a half. So we're really hoping what we're doing now, and Aliza arrived just in time, because really the proof will be in our efforts to enroll students, in how we bring the concept of a better world to life in our curriculum, in our music programs, in our art programs, in our enrichment programs, in just how we all behave around the preschool. That's where a brand message really comes home. And if you think about it, if any of you think about what is your favorite brand, it's not about the logos. It's about how the brand makes you feel. So we all have to think about, with a better world, how do we make our preschool families and the children and parents feel as we bring the concept of a better world to life. So, and clearly, one of the things we did when we started working on this was to look at, I went and visited like all the other local preschool websites. They're all the same. They all say the same stuff. So this really gives us a way to talk about ourselves. It's very different, and I think has the opportunity to manifest even outside the preschool and other programs. So how do you bring a brand to life? One of the biggest ways of growing enrollment is word of mouth. And that's where all of you come in. And I know I don't see too many people in the audience who have preschoolers, although, grandchildren, friends, neighbors, just word of mouth is a really big deal, because when parents are making decisions about a preschool, they listen to each other. They listen to trusted sources. They listen to other parents. And so you all really can help by spreading the word about what we're doing here and encouraging people to touch base with Aliza. So with that, I want to, did I thank everybody? Oh, there's 3 other people I want to thank, which 3 members of the preschool committee played a very important role in helping, since we built the website and did a lot of the strategy before Aliza was really here. So people have said to me, well, how can you do that? How did you do that without a director? And me not being an educator, but being, a mom and a very committed marketer, tapped into the expertise of Amy Kuroda, who's one of the parents on our preschool committee, who played a really important role in thinking through the overall navigation, the design of the site, and then our 2 teacher board members, Lori Kavoris, who I think is here. Lori, where are you? Lori and Neely Troll, who are both on the board, and they're both preschool educators. And I called them and I was like, listen, I have to work on this copy, and I really need help to talk about, what happens in a 2-year-old class? What happens in a 4-year-old class? I'm too old to remember. I don't know. And they played a really critical role. And the fact that Aliza had no edits to that copy She said it was all accurate. I was like, they really helped. So we could not have done this without them. So with that, the QR code is here so that you can visit the site and really explore it. Anyone who has questions about the site, wants to know more about anything about this, feel free to reach out to me, amy.radin@gmail.com, or tell Rebecca or Ruth, or they all have my contact information. They can all hunt me down. But I'm happy to talk more about how we got to this point, and happy to get your feedback and encouragement and additional ideas. So with that, it's been such a pleasure for just the last couple of months to meet and get to work with Eliza. She is energetic, she is creative, she has so many ideas, she brings so much experience, she is accountable, she's on my case constantly, and I sent her a note today, Eliza, really, I'm doing the best I can. She also brings incredible credentials, both undergraduate and graduate degrees in early childhood education, and a degree someplace, with also expertise in special ed. So she's bringing really serious credentials, great experience running another preschool, a terrific user of digital technology, so very plugged in to a lot of the important dimensions of a marketing strategy. And I just look forward to continuing to work with you. So welcome, Eliza.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here tonight and to be joining CBI, especially at such an exciting moment of growth and transformation as we officially transition and rebrand our preschool as A Better World Preschool at Congregation B'nai Israel. Just last week, I put together an Instagram account and a Facebook page for the new preschool brand and really started to see it come to life. It was very, very exciting. This moment gives us the opportunity to reflect deeply on our mission and purpose. What does it mean to be a community with a preschool? For me, it means meeting each child, and by extension, each family where they are, and helping them grow into the best version of themselves. This idea is beautifully captured by the quote that Amy put on the front page of our webpage. Teach each child according to their way, and when they grow old, they will not depart from it. This is part of our Jewish tradition. At A Better World Preschool, we believe in building personal, meaningful connections with every child and every family. While academics certainly matter, we place a strong emphasis on social, emotional growth and universal values, all deeply rooted in our Jewish tradition. We aim to nurture children who are kind, generous, understanding, resilient, and independent. Children who will grow up and through their actions make our world a better place. So what's new at Better World Preschool? This coming year brings with it exciting additions and changes. We are thrilled to announce the opening of our brand new infant room, welcoming children as young as 3 months old. We're also launching a hot lunch and snack program, allowing parents to conveniently order healthy meals delivered straight to school. Even better, this program serves as a fundraiser, giving back to our school with each order. We're also embracing fundraising throughout the year. We've already started a fundraiser with Mabel's Labels, a company that offers customizable labels for all children's gear. These fundraisers are open to the entire community, and we welcome your participation and support. Another fun initiative we're launching is our birthday party package, an easy way for families to celebrate their children's birthday at school without the stress of party planning. We'll take care of the celebration, and the school earns a little support in the process. With all of this, one of our key values is staying true to our Jewish roots. While our name has changed, our Jewish identity remains at the heart of who we are. Each morning, our school community will gather together to start the day with a simple prayer and ritual. On Fridays, we'll continue cherished Shabbat experiences with the clergy. Each child will have the opportunity to be a Shabbat star, inviting their family to join in the celebration. On Mondays, we'll begin our week with a Havdalah ceremony, helping children understand the transition from rest to rhythm of the week, again emphasizing universal values like reflection, gratitude, and renewal. We'll also be teaching children to say brachot, blessings before meals, encouraging mindfulness and a sense of gratitude for the food we are lucky to have. Building connections within our walls and beyond. A huge part of my vision for Better World Preschool is engagement with our families, with our CBI community, and with our broader Millburn Short Hills neighborhood. Together with Rabbi Eisenberg, I've submitted a grant for a new intergenerational program connecting our preschoolers with local seniors to build mutual understandings and joy across generations. We're also building partnerships with other local preschools and looking into ways to support families in the public school system, such as offering wraparound care for South Mountain students who attend the half-day programs. We want our community to know us, not just as a preschool, but as a space where children and families thrive. That's why we'll be working closely with the CBI membership committee to reach and engage families outside of our preschool walls. We've already started hosting events for young families, and while our first gathering last Sunday was small, it was deeply meaningful, and it's just the beginning. You'll also see us at every family-friendly CBI event, including the upcoming barbecue, where we'll be partnering with PJ Library to offer exciting children's activities. We are focusing on really becoming a household name to young families in the greater Millburn Short Hills community. And as you can see from the social media presence that is coming and has started to evolve over time, we want people to see what we're doing. We're doing amazing things, and everyone needs to see. We want you to stay with us every step of the way through this growth. So please visit our website, betterworldpreschool.org, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Better World Preschool. Social media will continue to be a key part in how we share our story, expand our reach, and celebrate all the beautiful moments ahead. If you ever have any questions, ideas, or just want to connect, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I am not here full-time yet. I will be at the end of August, but as for anyone who's worked with me so far, I am doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and I look forward to connecting with all of you through this work. So my email is alizam@betterworldpreschool.org, and I would love to hear from all of you. Thank you for your continued support and for the wonderful welcome to CBI. I am excited to be part of this journey with you, and together we will build a better world, one child at a time.
Marielle, I think you guys are up next, David and Marielle.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Mariella Dibner, and this is David Tauger, for anybody who might not know us. And we're here to give you a quick update on the CBI Centennial. So first off, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we continued to celebrate our multi-year centennial this year. In the fall, we kicked it off with Centennial Challah Bake, where Gila led a multi-generational group to make and braid challah, which was great. And on the same day, we inaugurated our CBI Centennial Historic exhibit, which I have to say was truly a labor of love for those of us on the committee. And I think a lot of you came and saw not only the Judaica, actual pieces of the buildings that we had, pictures, books, and posters put together about our buildings, our artwork, our people over the years. We had a CBI timeline going through our first 100 years with the rabbis, the cantors, and significant moments in CBI's history. So I hope you got to enjoy that, as well as some really terrific interviews with longtime congregants. Following that, we did our Centennial Bike Ride, where there were rides of different lengths, the longest one being a metric century, so 100 kilometers, and
There's a lot of wheels going around.
a lot of wheels. lot of riding for a happy cycling shul. And I'm excited to tell you all to mark your calendars for upcoming centennial celebrations on November 15th. Get your dancing shoes polished up because we're going to be doing a dance-a-thon, and we expect you all to be there. We're going to have songs from the different decades throughout the night, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then next spring, we'll cap off the centennial celebration with a gala. Besides all the celebrating, there's another very important mission of the centennial, and that's the campaign element. I'm very happy to let you know that as of today, we have raised 1.26, a little over 1.26 of our $2.2 million campaign goal. And that is so far from 53 member families and individuals and Men's Club. The goal of the campaign is both to pay off the mortgage and to shore up our endowment, to safeguard our future here at CBI. And for those of you that have not been approached yet, I just want to let you know a little bit more about how we're setting this up. There's different giving levels, and they all equate to an anniversary. So from $250,000 as a diamond anniversary gift to under $5,000 as a copper anniversary gift, we currently have giving at each and every level, and we appreciate each gift. The gifts can be made over a 3-year period. Of course, if you want to pay, in the first year, that's only, more helpful in that we are using the funds to pay off the mortgage, and when we have a substantial amount, we can go ahead and pay the mortgage down. You'll hear more about that in the budget discussion, but we have already made significant payments towards the mortgage from amounts already collected. And with that, I'll turn to David.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Mariella, for aiding me in this campaign. It's really been a wonderful experience talking to all the congregants that we've individually talked to, and our goal is to get to all the congregants. That will take time, because Mariella and I are only 2 people, and it does take time to get through over 275 different members. We have gotten to 53, as Mariella said, and it's been a good experience. We have raised 3/4 of what we needed to raise just to pay off the mortgage, and we're in line to make our goal of $2.2 million. And I just want to emphasize what Rabbi Eisenberg said. He took the words right out of my mouth, actually. One of the things I stress to the families when I go talk to them is not just the community that we have here, but the importance of having a conservative synagogue here in Millburn. it has been very important for the last 100 years, and as time is proving to us right now, it will be even more important for the next 100 years. In just the last year, the synagogue has stood out in the community, whether it was protesting an anti-Israel movie that was going to be played at the Bauer Center last summer, to this recently when a store in town tried to put Hamas posters up. The synagogue has been at the forefront of rising up to the community and fighting any of these anti-Israel and really anti-Semitic attacks. And that is why our slogan is L'Dor V'Dor. We are standing on the shoulders of the generations before us, and it is our duty to make it so the generations after us can stand on our shoulders. I just want to thank everybody who's given, and we will get to everybody. It's going to take some time, but we will get to everybody. If anybody wants to contact us to sort of speed up the process, you know Mariella and I, we're here for almost every event, so just give us a call, an email, or come up to us personally, and we'll be happy to schedule it. But we will get to you all. Thank you all for the donations you've made and the donations yet to come.
Thank you, David and Mariella. I think we want to move quickly now into the installation ceremony, so I'll call on Steve Brown, our Master of Ceremonies, to take it from here.
Years ago, I was very impressed when I took my kids to Town Hall to see their first concert. It was Rafi. And Rafi knew that after about an hour or so, everybody should get up and shake their hands up in the air. And if anybody thinks they need to, from sitting so long, please feel free to do that, including while I'm speaking. So right now, we'd like to, we come together to recognize and celebrate the dedicated individuals who have stepped forward to lead our community as members and officers of the CBI Board of Trustees. To them I say, your strength, expertise, and passion are invaluable assets, and we are truly grateful for your commitment. Your time, energy, and vision will shape the path ahead, and your unique contributions will strengthen our shared vision. While our board has fiduciary responsibility of ensuring that CBI remains fiscally sound, we're not a business beholden to stockholders. We're a center of Jewish life, one devoted to our current and future congregants. The bond between each of us and our synagogue is deeply personal. For me, this connection has been shaped through heartfelt conversations in which fellow congregants have shared their personal needs, meaningful relationships, and deep appreciation for CBI. My hope is that each of you, in your leadership role, will experience those same moments of heartfelt connection, the ones that remind us why our synagogue is such a vital part of our lives. So first, with deep gratitude for their continuing support, we need to thank our outgoing officers and trustees. And each may stand when I mention your names. Jamie Beneroff, Second Vice President. Jamie Patechin, our immediate past president. I'm the outgoing designated past president. Deborah Nevis is finishing her second term, as well as Angela Cohen finishing her second term. Susan Stern, representing Sisterhood, is also leaving the board. Thank you. Yasher Koach to each of you. And we thank our officers and trustees who will be returning to the board in their current positions. Serving for a second two-year term are Adam Forster, our treasurer, Sharon Richmond, our secretary, board members Aaliyah Kovel, Lisa Friedman, Brett Popolo. We thank each of you. And continuing in their current term are David Gutstein, Stacy Thompson, David Troll, Aaron Wernick, all board members, Linda Sotnick as designated past president, Amy Blackman, financial secretary, David Tauger representing Men's Club, and joining the board will be Miriam Lindver representing Sisterhood. Thank all of you. Our nominating committee has put forth an impressive slate of officers and trustees to fill this year's open board positions. Thank you for your thoughtful work led by Chair Jamie Patechin, and his committee, Angela Cohen, Greg Daniel, Dan Devani, Sarah Sherman, Karen Tucker, and Aaron Wernick. Thank you all. I'd like to tell you a little something about and thank our proposed new and rising officers and trustees. So among our new trustees is Dan Serrano. Dan was here. There we go. Daniel's returning to the board after previously having served as the treasurer. He'll be filling the unexpired term vacated by Amy Blackman as she steps into the role of financial secretary. Daniel and his wife Cynthia joined CBI with their children Natalie and Nick in 2001. Besides being conversant in finance lingo from his pre-retirement years on Wall Street, Daniel speaks 3 languages, is conversant in 1 more, and is learning Hebrew to make it, as he says, an even 5. I don't think it's quite even. In his spare time, he enjoys traveling, cooking, and doing crossword puzzles. Eric Mann's going to be serving in his first 2-year term. Eric joined CBI in 2006 with his wife Rachel. They have a son Jared and a daughter Ilana, both of whom will be attending University of Maryland beginning in the fall. Eric's an attorney. His fondest personal memory of CBI is celebrating his children's B'nai Mitzvah in 2020. And his fondest volunteer participation memory is serving on the Rabbinical Search Committee, which thankfully led to Rabbi Eisenberg joining our congregation. He's a rabid fan of the New York Mets, Giants and Knicks, and enjoys spending time with family, hiking, and exercise. And Zach Ontel, also serving his first term. Zach's a relatively new member, having joined CBI with his wife Lisa in 2022. They have 2 daughters, Madison and Leah. Zach is a teacher and athletic director. He's been involved with delivery of Purim baskets, kitchen cleanup, and the journal for our most recent spring fundraiser. Zach's hobbies and interests include real estate, basketball, cooking, golf, but family time is best time. So Zach, Eric, and Dan, as you take on your new role, know that you're not alone. You're part of a team, a network of leaders who share your dedication and vision. Together we'll work, we'll lead to make a meaningful impact. And our proposed new and advancing officers, Marielle Dibner, she's returning to the board as designated past president. Mariella and Ari joined CBI in 1999, and thanks to their daughters Lucy, Phoebe, and Sarah, and sons Teddy and Miles, have shared many wonderful baby namings, preschool celebrations, and B'nai Mitzvahs with us. Marielle is an attorney. Her many CBI leadership positions include co-chairing our current centennial campaign, as you just heard. Henry Bloom. Moving on to what Phil Daravoff always touts as the most coveted position at CBI, immediate past president. Henry, our congregation is so grateful for the meaningful efforts you gifted CBI in the past 2 years. Yes, it was only 2 years. Your tireless, caring, and transparent leadership have helped navigate us through choppy waters. I know that with your help, our incoming leadership team will build upon your good works. Yasha Kov. Joining the executive committee after earlier stints are Adam Katzman, who will be a 3rd vice president. Adam and his wife, Lori, along with their daughters, Hallie and Raina, are longtime members. Adam has great memories joining other CBI dads, helping their daughters at the Indian Princesses program. He also enjoyed assisting Lori with Mitzvah Day. Adam is a committed Philadelphia sports fan, and I'm not sure how to take committed in that. And although he is from Philadelphia, Adam was born in Houston, Texas. Josh Jacobs, also rejoining, this time as 2nd vice president. Josh and his wife, Lisa, have been members of CBI for nearly 30 years. They have 2 children, Jennifer and Zachary. Josh previously served on the executive committee as financial secretary. He has enjoyed playing men's club basketball for as long as he's been a member of the congregation. And Josh says that he's honored to be back on the executive committee as 2nd vice president. Perhaps in keeping with CBI's proud focus on our musicality as the music shul, Our rising executive officers represent CBI's, maybe they represent their first song and dance team, kind of like Gene Kelly and Judy Garland, or Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, or Janet Jackson and Paula Abdul of the conservative synagogues. No, Adam and Josh, I wasn't referring to your musical talents. I was thinking of the beautiful tones of Paula Tauger, who will be stepping up to first vice president, and the tap dancing rhythmic stylings of Ruth Kirshner, our rising new president. Both figuratively and literally, Paula has been a powerful, encouraging voice for CBI in her family's many years as leaders in our congregation. Supported by her husband David and children Ben and Ariel, Paula has served our community in so many ways, dynamically chairing committees, as sisterhood president, executive committee member, and as an energetic and thoughtful ambassador to prospective and new members. And of course, she shared her beautiful voice leading, chanting, and harmonizing at our services. Ruth Kirshner has agreed to serve as our new president. Ruth and Bruce joined CBI in 2001 with their children, Josh and Rachel. Ruth's an attorney with a focus on construction litigation, and hopefully we won't be needing your services in that regard. Ruth's CBI committee work has included serving as chair of the Religious School Board, Sisterhood co-president, and chair of numerous ad hoc committees, such as the hiring committees for our new preschool director and our executive director. Rounding out our song and dance leadership team, Ruth brings her tap dancing skills which Ruth has evidenced translate beautifully to community leadership. Ruth, you have rhythmic awareness. A great leader, like a tap dancer, listens intently to the rhythm around them, whether it's the pulse of a community or the voices of its members. They recognize the beat, anticipate changes, and respond with grace. Ruth, you understand the power of collaboration. Tap dance thrives on interaction. Dancers adjust to musicians, fellow performers, and even the audience. Similarly, strong leaders engage in dynamic dialogue, adapting to the needs of those they serve while guiding with a steady presence. And Ruth, you bring energy. Just as a tap dancer commands the stage with sheer energy and rhythm, a leader inspires confidence and movement within their community, setting a tone that drives engagement and progress. Ruth, I know that through your attentiveness, rhythm, and meaningful interactions, we will be in step for successful presidency for you and our community. And now, by a show of hands, I ask the congregation to approve our new slate of officers and trustees. All those in favor? Any opposed? No. Congratulations to our new board. To all our trustees and officers, I hope this is an opportunity, not just one for you to serve the community, but also one in which the community serves you by supporting and pursuing initiatives that are meaningful to you as a dedicated board member, committee member, and leader. Please know that your fellow congregants are profoundly grateful for your commitment to strengthening and enriching Jewish life for all of us who call this synagogue home. Together, may we go from strength to strength.
Okay, all right. I think Steve had a great, if you feel like you need to stand up and just stretch, you can take that opportunity. I know we've been here for quite a while already, and so we're going to move straight away into the presentation of the budget. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to speak to the first few slides, and we're going to move through this fairly quickly. Some of it is a little bit redundant, and I will not dwell on it, and then Adam is going to speak to in a little bit more detail about the numbers. I just want to say that you may have questions. We'll hold them, as we said, till the end. But if we can't get to everything, we really, our intention is to be as transparent as we can be. And so if you have questions, we want to answer them. Okay, I've highlighted this. This is just expressing that our people are our greatest assets here at CBI, our clergy and staff, our lay leadership, and the committed membership base that we have. And what's new more recently is that a growing and dedicated cohort of young families. So these were some of the highlights that have been mentioned at different times during the meeting already. The extraordinary growth and development of our Erev Shabbat Live programs, the growth of the programs for our youngest children, Bimbam Shabbat and Ketanim, and most recently our spring concert fundraiser, which was an enormous success, both in terms of the quality of the event, the great time people had, and the results in terms of our fundraising efforts. So thank you to the fundraising committee that ran that event. Just one other slide on a few highlights. You know, there is so much to highlight, but we mentioned that the renewal of Rabbi Eisenberg's contract. We just heard about the Centennial Campaign. We'll speak just a little bit more about the impact on the mortgage in one moment. We've noted that both the preschool and our religious school have grown in spite of the challenges we've had, the disruptions and the transitions in leadership. They have both grown in the past year. Overall membership was stable in terms of the new members in and how many people left, and our budget targets were met. So just a few highlights. And I mentioned earlier, we took decisive action in two areas in particular to try to improve and stabilize our finances, and that is to revitalize and grow the preschool and to pay down the mortgage. So just a little bit more on the preschool. So in terms of the numbers, we began the school year with 20 students. By the way, that's exactly what we budgeted for. 20 students for the fiscal year 2024-25, and the number moved up over the course of the year. We had 26 at the end of the year, and you'll see that actually that enabled us to overperform on the projected revenue for tuition. Our preschool director left unexpectedly in December of 2024, which was at the time obviously a disappointment and a setback, but we are extraordinarily grateful to our staff that did an exceptional job of maintaining continuity and stability, and we were able to quickly pivot and recruit a new director, as you've heard from, Eliza, and we're just extremely optimistic about the school going forward. And as you know, Eliza will start officially later this summer and has already made quite an impact on the school. Looking forward, Eliza mentioned the opening of infant care. We really do think this can be a game changer for our school, and the branding, the new website and branding campaign has been launched. Budget assumes enrollment of 30 students. We've got some work to do to get there, but the pattern has been that we've continued over time, over the summer, to pick up additional students as we got closer. So we think this is a reasonable target, and that's what we've put in the budget in terms of tuition. So, you heard a little bit about the Centennial Campaign from Mariella and David. So just a little bit more here. So I want to be clear again, because last year we had, some perhaps lack of clarity about this. So all contributions are being used to pay down the mortgage. Of course, the overall target is greater than the principal of our mortgage, and so we do intend that we will be able to replenish our endowment, but $1.8 million was the principal on the mortgage when we began this campaign, and the first $1.8 million will go toward paying it down, paying it off. Total commitments to the campaign now exceed 1.2. I made this slide a few days ago, and the number has already gone up. So, as David mentioned, or Mariella, we're over 1.25 now. And importantly, that includes payments that have already been made against the commitments of over $700,000. And that has enabled us to already make significant payments against the principal. We reduced the principal from $1.8 million to less than $1.1 million. And that the effect of that has been to reduce our monthly payments from over $17,000 a month to now under $9,000. So we've already made a huge impact. Okay, and I do want to take the opportunity to thank David and Mariella for incredible amount of work they've done. You may recall the capital campaign 15 years ago. There was an army of people that worked on that. It was a different time, different circumstances. David and Mariella have been working on this with some help here and there, but really doing the lion's share of the work, and I want to thank them on behalf of the whole community. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Adam now to speak to the numbers a little bit.
So, hi. I wanted to make a few comments first before we get into some of the details. I really appreciate all the support from this community after my mom passed last month. A lot of people reached out via text, made donations, even tonight talking to Matt Askin, really helped with the grieving process. Thank you very much. We've made a lot of progress this year. When I started, we were behind in our annual reviews. It's not quite an audit that we go through, but an annual review, and we needed to catch up on those in order to get our new mortgage. So I want to thank Bob Brower is here. He put in a lot of effort with, and I'm not just talking about a couple hours, with Brett Cohen. They got two reviews done at once, and we're almost caught up. We have a review going on right now that Brett is leading with Amy Blackman. Also, Amy has stepped into the role of financial secretary, so now we're fully staffed at the top. Help from the office. When I took over, there was no process to take in the capital campaign checks and get them reported, get them up to KESEF, get them in the books, make sure their K-1's going out at the end of the year, reflecting the donations, so the office really stepped up in that regard. Thanks to David Talger and Adam Katzman for the new mortgage that we have, the interest rate, and that was no small feat. The bank almost tried to pull out at the end, and we told them we had relied on them, and thank you to Adam and David for making that happen. The 2024-25 budget, which you see part of up here, was put together in no small effort by Dave Sodnick, and it's held up throughout the entire year. We did not do a reforecast mid-year. Everything held up very well, as you'll see. As Henry said, we're trying to be as transparent about this process as possible, so if you have a lot of detailed questions, let it be known, and Henry and I, or just me, will be willing to meet with people separately outside of this meeting. There's no effort to move things around or not explain anything in appropriate detail. Finally, if you could pay your open balances, like to start the year off clean with as much money as possible for Ruth. We paid down our gala and our Purim commitments a week ago. I know other people have as well, so please check your Shul Cloud balances, and if there's a commitment you made during the year, please consider getting caught up with that and reducing the accounts receivable. So you want to go? So the budget, what we did last year, if you want to go back, and I know these numbers are small. I'll just talk at the top. So on the left side we have the budget. In the middle we have where we're going to end up, and then we have 2024 on the right side. Our revenues 1.551 was the budget. We're coming in at 1.537. So the budget held up very well. There were some things that turned out a little better, some a little worse, but on the revenue side, we've done a good job in terms of bringing in money, meeting the high holiday targets, meeting the gala targets. One thing that Dave explained was the lack of grants right here that would plague us and cause us to have a deficit that we had this year. The deficit was projected $440,000. That's we've taken, I think, $445,000 out of the endowment. So the base budget, as I mentioned, held up very, very well. Total expenses were coming in projected 1.994. We're coming in within 20,000 of that. And compensation and various expenses, compensation, various expenses held up very well against the budget, especially in total. So we can take questions on that later. Next slide. So this is the budget for the upcoming year. It includes, as you can see, a fairly large step up on the revenue side, almost to 1.8 from the 1,537. We'll get into the next slide with the revenues, but the main areas where we think we can increase the money are in preschool, the rental income, which Rebecca mentioned, and going from 45 to 100, and then sale of cemetery plots is probably the asset that the congregation has that we're going to most use to make our financial targets this year. On the expense side, compensation goes up, and we'll explain that. The mortgage payments, as you can see, are going down, and then everything else is very much in line. So, and we project the loss, to cut the loss to approximately $250,000, almost in half. So on the revenue side, like I mentioned, we're forecasting the preschool to pick up $152,000. 76 of that is tuition, going from what we averaged this past year to an average of 30 kids. And hopefully that's a number that Elisa can make, especially considering that we had 0 from infant care, and now we'll have an infant care program. We do have grants this year, $63,000, which will be helping the preschool. And just so you guys know, Elisa has already found $20,000 of grants, which we've received already 11,000 of, that kind of received it. She hasn't even started, and she's making that kind of impact. The funny, not funny, but she collected $11,000 of the grant so quickly, it's in the 24, 25 numbers instead of this year's numbers. So with the increased enrollment, we think the summer camp will do better, and Elisa expects to do quite well with the fundraising from the preschool, from those families. Next is rental income. We're taking that up $55,000. Of the target that's 100, Rebecca is already, I think it's 68 to 70 is committed, contractual. So there's a stretch there of just another 30,000 to get to the target. And as Henry put here, ongoing efforts, there's people making calls, trying to place businesses in the building. I think that's a number that we're pretty comfortable with, and it again reflects a pretty nice step up from the current year. And then the last main source of additional revenue will be from the cemetery plots. This is an asset that we put under a little bit more scrutiny thanks to Henry and Rebecca. We have 225 remaining. We've been going through them on average of about 4 to 8 a year. So the idea is to make these available for sale to a much broader part of the Jewish community in Milburn, Short Hills, and surrounding areas. We've sold these below market. We've not marketed them, and we believe that there's a serious amount of revenue that can be generated by selling these. At the pace that we are going at, we'd have these plots for decades longer, and given the current situation, this seems like an appropriate asset to try and help reduce our deficit. So on the expense side, we've taken the expense up $71,000 year over year. On the plus side, on the expenses, we expect to reduce our mortgage payments by $68,000. As Henry mentioned, the lower payments, those started this past January, so we did have July through December at the $17,000 number, and hopefully next month or the month after we'll be paying below $9,000 per month. The nursery school reflects a full year of Elisa against a half year of her predecessor, and also an additional teacher. There's an investment to be made in the religious school. We do not have a director in that in the religious school, and that's an increase in the budget. Annual compensation increases $24,000, and then we have an expense reserve that equals about 3.5% of non-payroll expenses. Rebecca has a lot of these expenses already under contract for next year. We're not expecting increases in landscaping. We're not expecting increases in numerous services. We've also signed a maintenance agreement with several of the trades that we're hoping will save money, but we thought it would be time, We don't know where the higher expenses are going to come from, but we do have a $24,000 reserve for increased expenses. A lot of scrutiny on the preschool. The preschool is going to do quite well, I think a lot better than most people imagine. If we get to the 30 kids, we're expecting that's an average of $10,000 a student. That gets you to $300,000. We have grants in place already. That's guaranteed, the 53. And we also have grants in place to collect for next year as well on the preschool. And then there's fundraising. Total expected revenue from the preschool is $373,000. Went over the full staffing. This includes additional headcount for the infant care, our security costs, the allocation of security costs, because the main reason we have the security costs is the preschool. We have some new additional things in this budget that always ask for specials to bring in special people to have activities. Professional development, that's a little higher than in prior years. Louisa has a conference she's going to, and we are going to, for the first time, reimburse the staff for all of their professional development. And then other in the preschool includes telephone, supplies, fundraising, miscellaneous expenses are about $400,000, and the preschool would operate at a loss of about $26,000, $27,000 in that case. And I note again that if that grant hadn't been received so quickly, Louisa would, the preschool budget would be closer to a loss of $15,000. So with the grants this year and next year, if we get to 33 children, we would be at break even for the preschool. Without the grants, we need to be around 38 kids to break even. Okay?
Yeah, I can speak briefly to this. So we always show you a breakdown of our membership, and so you can see it right there, how the different categories of membership break down. We're currently at a level of 281 member units, and we wanted to sort of give you an idea. This is a snapshot of where we are right now. During the past 12 months, so in the current fiscal year, as was already mentioned, we welcomed 10 new member units. We're able to count up 13 that came off our membership list, but I actually did some research into these, and just to give you a sense, so three of them, the last time they made any kind of payment to the synagogue was in 2022. And there were two more that the last time they made a payment was 2023. So, you know, I think we're maybe splitting hairs a little bit, but arguably these families did not consider themselves members for much more than 1 year. We just were trying, and you didn't know their status. So I think we feel comfortable that membership is really flat, approximately 10 in and 10 out over the last 12 months. Of course, we want to grow, but I think you all know that we had a real decline in membership during the COVID years and even leading up to that. So we really see this in a very, very positive light. So I think that's the highlights on this slide. Okay, I think we're actually going to stop there. I think, Ruth, you want to come up and say your remarks, and then we will take questions.
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ruth Kirshner. It is true. Hear me now? Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ruth Kirshner. It is truly my honor to be the next president of Congregation B'nai Israel. My husband Bruce and I have been members of CBI since 2001. Our introduction to the community was through the preschool, where Bruce and I and our now adult children made lifelong friends. It didn't take long until we forged an unyielding connection to this wonderful community. Since that time, we have celebrated many happy milestones and some not so happy ones. CBI was there for my family, for all of them. Shortly after joining CBI, I was asked to serve on the religious school board, and after 1 year, I was asked to chair the committee. I recall one of my friends saying to me then, "You were going to be synagogue president one day." My answer? Never in a million years. Well, a million years have passed, and here we are. So how did the person who said never in a million years say yes to the presidency? The answer is simple. I was asked. While I was initially taken aback, I realized how much CBI means to me and how much so many people have done to make this community special. I knew it was my turn to take on the role. Thank you for having confidence in me. I have two main goals for my presidency. One, to continue to develop engaging programs that foster connection and warm feelings amongst our members. And two, to continue to work to assure the financial sustainability of the congregation. These goals are interconnected, and everything that we do will be with an eye towards achieving both. We will continue to work toward paying off the mortgage. As you have heard, we have already made great strides towards this objective. For those of you that have already made a commitment, I thank you. For those of you that have not yet made your commitment, thank you in advance. This campaign will succeed because the entire community wants it to. We will continue the good work in the preschool. I am proud to have chaired the committee that hired Eliza Meslansky. With Eliza in place, and with our expanded programming to meet the needs of working parents, beefed up curriculum, and of course the rebranding, I am confident that we are making wise investments in our preschool that will ultimately ease our financial stress, bring in new members, and produce mensches well prepared for what comes after preschool. I also want to thank Dahlia Jacobowitz and Alana Tenenbaum, who, supported by Susan Cashin, took over the leadership of the school when we needed them. The religious school also remains an important part of our core mission. This past year, we reintroduced Jewish Adventures, a once-a-month taste of BBRS for children in kindergarten and pre-K. With 10 children, it was our largest class, and next year we are bringing back weekly classes for kindergartners. While still small, the religious school did grow under the leadership of Rabbi Eisenberg, Mora Mike Greenstein, and Susan Cashin, and the dedication of the religious school board chaired by Jody Scheinbaum. And the small size allowed us to continue to focus individual attention on our students, including continuing to offer one-on-one Hebrew lessons. The religious school board worked hard to create events to bring families closer and to encourage membership, including having Shabbat dinners in homes of volunteers, and we will look for more opportunities for social engagement. We will redouble our efforts to recruit new members. Rachel and Jason Wininger, as chairs of the membership committee, are developing protocols for engagement with prospective and current members, which include touch points by the membership committee, the clergy, school directors, the executive director, and lay leaders. Retention of members is also critical to our success. We have broad programming designed to reach all demographics. To name just a few, our Friday night Bim Bam Shabbat program, offered monthly before our congregational dinners, has become increasingly popular. We are increasing the frequency of that programming, and we are now back in the building on average twice a month on Friday night. Our Shabbat morning programming for preschoolers, Kitanim, will be expanded. Those of you that come routinely on Shabbat morning know that we have a growing cohort of young families coming to shul, even on weeks when Kitanim is not offered. Currently offered once a month, it is my goal to offer Kitanim every week. For our older children, we will continue to offer Shabbat Shalano for BBRS and non-BBRS youth. In the fall, we will launch Teen Club, which will provide our teenagers with access to both USY and our Madrichim program. We are bringing back programming for our senior members. Art Fredman has agreed to chair this initiative and will be working closely with the cantor. Intergenerational programming also will be developed, and we will expand our methods of outreach to members who are not necessarily comfortable with email. As the rabbi mentioned, he is planning to hold study sessions that will appeal to many segments of our population, including Torah on Tap, which will take place at a local bar. I'm committed to making multi-faith families feel even more at home here, and will be working to enhance our engagement with this important cohort. For those that are interested in conversion, Rabbi is available to serve as a sponsor. We will continue to be an ally of the LGBTQ community. These are only samplings of what is going on here at CBI, truly something for everyone. I'm committed to increasing CBI's exposure in the Jewish and local communities and improving our communications to our membership. Last year, we brought on Ann Zaccardo as our marketing coordinator. I am pleased to announce that Mark Polson, a seasoned expert, has agreed to lead our marketing committee, and Amy Radin is guiding the marketing for Better World Preschool. As Henry already said, we will continue to look for new revenue streams, including facility rentals. Another area of great potential is in grants. We have had limited bandwidth to apply for grants and have had to focus our efforts narrowly. I am announcing here my plans to form a grants committee dedicated to identifying, applying for, and administrating grants. We need volunteers to chair and serve on this very important committee. Please reach out to me if you can help. I plan to form a strategic planning committee devoted to contingency planning, which will include asset valuation. We have sizable assets, including the Mother Well and other significant artwork, 225 cemetery plots, which have considerable value and endowment, and of course, our building and property. While we have confidence that with the paydown of the mortgage and the potential for growth in the preschool and BBRS, we will be in much better shape, it is still important to consider all alternatives to ensure not only our viability, but that we thrive. Once again, we need volunteers for this committee. I am grateful to embark on this journey with a wonderful team. First, I want to thank my husband and family. Bruce, you are my behind-the-scenes sounding board and my therapist. Thank you in advance for your patience. Thank you to our senior staff, as well as the entire administrative and maintenance staff. You are the lifeblood of this congregation. Thank you to the nominating committee. Thank you to the outgoing and the incoming Board of Trustees and Executive Committee for your guidance and hard work. And to all of our volunteers who roll up their sleeves to bring many programs to the community, thank you. For anyone that has not yet found a volunteer opportunity or wants to do more, please reach out to me. I am sure that I can help you find a meaningful way for you to have a positive impact. One final thank you to Henry Bloom for all of your hard work during your presidency and in the years leading up to it. I know that even as you move into the cherished role of immediate past president, you will remain active and engaged. At least that's what he promised me, and I intend to hold him to it. Thank you.
Okay, I think that brought us to the end of our agenda, a little later than we had anticipated. So thank you all for staying, and we are open for questions now, really, on any of the topics that were covered during the meeting. And so I'd also ask all of the speakers to be available to come up. I think we don't have a handheld mic, so I think I'll be able to hear you, and maybe I'll repeat the question into Zoom. So, questions? So I think, of course, it's an estimate, and I think, we've talked a lot with Eliza about this. Based on the early enrollments, typically especially for new families, they will book relatively short hours, and then as the child gets comfortable, they'll expand. So, you know, it's hard to know. I mean, I hope you're right, Neil, and you might be, based on, so we'll see. I mean, that might be an upside opportunity in the budget. I don't know. I feel, Lisa, if you want to comment? Sure.
Sure. I think what ultimately we're seeing now is that registration that happened pre-me coming on, and really showing all the things that we're changing and the ways that we're bringing in the new brand. We have had, I would like to say, Rebecca can correct me, but I think we've had almost one tour a day for the last 2 weeks. I followed up today with about 10, 15 families. There's no incentive, right? You already passed the early birds, so they know they can register. Also, something to keep in mind about an infant room is if we're gonna take babies that are 3 months old, we're just hitting the threshold now of when people are going to announce their pregnancies. So we're not necessarily gonna get those children on a list ahead of time. Kind of just how it goes. So that's a little, you know, tricky. I know a couple families have said, I'm interested, but I get maternity leave till this point and all of those things. So that's how it will pan out. But I am pleased to say we are at 19 right now to start in September. So we are in a very, very good place with, I know, like I said today, I think 5 that I spoke to today that are coming in over the next course of time. So we really are doing well to hit those numbers. And I think it's also, or the relationships with the public school will also help with the afternoon care.
I think Neil's question was really, I think the question was about what we're charging for tuition. Is that your question? So the $10,000 is an average. We are fortunate enough to be able to offer a wide variety of days, hours, and programs for kids, for our families. Some families are going to sign up for 5 days a week from 8 in the morning till 6 p.m. Some families are only going to send their kids 2 or 3 days a week, maybe half days. The $10,000 is an average tuition and is not necessarily reflective of what a full soup to nuts tuition would look like.
Okay. Next, Ross, you had a question, I think. No, thanks for the question, Ross. So Ross was asking about, you know, given the demographic shifts and the challenges that we face as a conservative synagogue here, and, you know, the challenging circumstances overall, you know, what kind of contingency planning, you know, is the board looking ahead to other possibilities as things develop? And I think the answer is we have been. There's more that needs to be done. I think Ruth mentioned that she will form a strategy committee. I think you're all aware, I spoke more about it last year at the annual meeting. We had a lot of discussions with Temple Beth Am in Springfield, not about necessarily merging yet, but we actually, our morning minions actually do meet together twice a week, so we are maintaining ties to them. We were actually fairly far into plans to combine our religious schools, which seemed to be a fairly obvious step that we could take, given the size of this, how small both schools were in the two synagogues. For reasons that we can't completely explain, they walked away from those discussions. We were ready to continue for sure. So we've put effort into trying to increase ties. I mentioned during my earlier remarks that we've increased the amount of joint programming we've done with other synagogues on holidays. I think there's been a real effort to get to know our neighbors, to get to know them better. Again, no specific plans for any sort of like merger, but just to know each other better and to sort of lay the relationships down for possible collaborations down the road. So that's one aspect. And I was just talking to Adam today about the fact that we're overdue to do an overall valuation of our property, our grounds here. Not that we're like planning to sell this anytime soon, but just to understand the value of our assets. We've also talked about this idea of potentially selling off some of our property. I mean, we haven't looked into that. I'm not quite sure really, personally, I don't know what that would look like when I look at our space, but it's something that a strategic committee absolutely could look into and explore to see what our options are. Last year I talked about, we did an extensive evaluation of the Motherwell painting to understand the value of the asset. And so we've done those kinds of things. Beyond that, we haven't advanced into sort of more planning. And I think the question of sort of trying to define sort of milestones or metrics that we can look at that would sort of trigger certain decisions, I think is probably the next step. And I think, again, a strategy committee could start to lay that kind of work out. So that's the best I can say right now. I think we do take it seriously, and we know we need to look more into contingencies. Other questions? Yes, Maya. So thank you for the comment and the question, Maya. So what Maya asked about is, has there been any sort of systematic approach to reach out to Israelis in the surrounding area to see their interest in our community and to try to create relationships there? And to my knowledge, there's not been a specific initiative in that regard. I mean, I think we can discuss with our membership committee or others. If anyone else has any thoughts on that from the leadership team, but thank you for the suggestion, and we certainly can. It's something we can explore for sure. Thank you, Maya. Other questions for anyone? Yes. Okay, so the mortgage is at 6 3/4%. We were at 4%, at a flat 4% rate for a number of years until last November, when we knew the rate was going to float. That was something that was coming, and that's why we started exploring with the lenders and with our lender. But it moved up to the market rate, and that was what we were able to last fall. That was the rate that we got, 6 3/4. Yeah. But I would add that the reduction, our ability to reduce the payments in the mortgage was really based on two factors. We were able to make a very, very sizable payment against the principal, and we were also able to re-amortize the mortgage. The lender agreed to do that. So that's why we were able to bring our monthly payments down from over $17,000 to actually down near $9,000 now. David? What's that? So they did. So David just let me know that they actually did reduce that, I guess, in our negotiation. We got it down to 6 3/4. Yeah. Other questions, comments? Okay. So as Adam and I both said, we are more than happy to continue the discussion about the budget. For those who are interested in the details, just let us know. If you have other questions or comments, please reach out to me or to Ruth, surely, certainly, and other members of the leadership team, and we'd be happy to sit down with you and discuss. So with that, I think we can call the meeting adjourned, and I thank you all and wish you a good evening. Oh, sorry, board members. Thank you. Board members, please stick around for no more than 5 minutes. We have to formally approve the budget, and that is really important. So please come up here toward the front and sit on the pews in the front. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, Paula. Everybody went over. The new board members don't have to stay. It's the old, unless they want to.